Right now on the news at 9, 2 people are killed in unrelated accidents in southwest Missouri. We'll have the latest. Plus, the Country Road Family Fun Farm is celebrating the holiday weekend. We'll tell you how. And we'll take you to the Royal Slab Car Show and Easttown Cruise in Joplin. The late edition of the KOAM News at 9 starts right now. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. 2 men are dead in 2 separate crashes in southwest Missouri. One crash happened last night just after 7:30 on I-49, 2 miles south of Sheldon in Barton County. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, 57-year-old Wayne Sprinkle was riding a motorcycle and swerved to avoid something in the roadway, lost control, and overturned. Sprinkle was pronounced dead at the scene. The other crash happened just after 9 last night on Elder Road, about 4.5 miles west of Diamond in Newton County. Officials with the Missouri Highway Patrol say 51-year-old Brian Bradley of Diamond was riding an ATV when it traveled off the roadway. Authorities say that Bradley overcorrected and that resulted in the ATV overturning. Bradley was pronounced dead at the scene. Grand River Dam Authority police say they recovered a body from the Dripping Springs area of Grand Lake. Officials say they received a call regarding a cliff jumper that did not resurface from the lake around 6:30 yesterday evening. The GRDA says water rescue units arrived on the scene and recovered the body about 30 minutes after the incident. The investigation is ongoing and no other details were released. A church bus is rear-ended on Missouri 96 just west of Oronogo. This crash happened just before 9:45 this morning. Officials say there were 6 people on the bus, which was from Crossroads Baptist Church in Carthage. The accident happened on Highway 96 near County Road 230, about a mile west of Oronogo. There were no injuries reported at the scene. Some of us saw some pretty heavy rain today and otherwise hot conditions. Nick Kelly joining us.
Yeah, scattered rain and storms are certainly out and about, Chris, but for areas that didn't see the rain, your temperatures really shot back up there. A high of 96 around Joplin today, but that was before you had some good downpours late this afternoon and early this evening. But everybody had to deal with quite a mild start this morning with lows around 74. This is the last of the rain and storms that we've been watching on the Skywatch storm tracker. Rains that actually still has some flash flood warnings out for a good deal of Woodson and Wilson counties. Those will expire by about 11:15 as we go deeper into the night. But overall, these thunderstorm chances again are on the downswing, which is good so that we can keep quiet for the overnight. But then we'll switch to heat advisories, and plenty of them. A lot of these lasting through much of this week once we get this frontal system lifting back to the north. So how does that mean for the 4th of July? Well, at least we'll start out with mostly clear skies and no rain to wake us up during the middle of the night. But we'll go from quite a warm start in the morning with lows around 75 and pushing highs near 98, Chris, with maybe some afternoon partly sunny skies. I think we're dry for the 4th, but this dry spell is going to last through much of this week, and we'll break that down and how hot it could get this week here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. The Country Road Family Fun Farm celebrating the holiday weekend by bringing people onto the farm for food, fun, and fireworks. Family Fun Farm is closed for the summer, but opened up its gates because they felt it's important to celebrate with the community.
Well, we are a very patriotic family. We love 4th of July. We're the type that's always blowing stuff up anyway. We would set off all kinds of fireworks whether we had a fun farm or not, but we figured since we have the fun farm and we love to blow things up, why not invite people to join us?
The Country Roads Family Fun Farm is located at 15144 Highway 97 in Stotts City. The Set Ranch Prosperity Ranch and the Royal Slab Car Club are partnering together to put on an inaugural car show in celebration of the 4th of July. The goal is to give people in groups of all backgrounds an opportunity to express themselves and celebrate the 4th through their cars.
Our main mission is to level the playing field for the socially and economically disadvantaged, and that includes a lot of people that are from other races, other cultures, and so we wanted to make sure we include everyone. And cars are an expression of people's culture and people's taste and their characteristics, and so they speak a lot about a person. You
can find out more information over at KOAMNewsNow.com. Another military victory for Russia is challenging Ukrainian resolve. Russia's defense minister says Russian forces have taken the last major city in Ukraine's Luhansk province, bringing Russian President Vladimir Putin one step closer to controlling the entire Donbass region. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy is in Lviv with the latest.
After a denial from President Volodymyr Zelensky early Sunday, Ukraine's armed forces have released a statement indicating they are in fact tactically withdrawing from Lysychansk, which was the final Ukrainian holdout in the Luhansk region of Donbass. Take a look at this video of Russian troops out east. This has been their focus for months now. And now that Luhansk is taken, many expect Russia to push for control of Donetsk, which is the other region that makes up Donbass. About 50 miles west of Lysychansk, another tragedy today. Take a look at this video. Local officials say at least 6 civilians were killed after intense Russian shelling in the eastern city of Sloviansk. Fox News is working to independently verify that number, but we do know the city's mayor posted on Telegram saying it's the worst shelling the city has seen, and many, many more are injured. Meanwhile, look at this map. Ukrainian officials say they're seeing a lot of activity from Belarusian troops in the southwestern corner of the country. Listen to this assessment.
According to the available information from July 1st, the Republic of Belarus Armed Forces began rotating units in the Brest region. Air defense systems are reinforced by units of the Eastern Military District of the Russian Federation Armed Forces.
That Brest region that you just heard is directly north of where we are in Lviv. And we told you yesterday, Lviv's mayor met with military leadership to plan for the event of a possible Belarusian invasion. And this comes as Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko is accusing Ukraine of trying to strike military targets in his country 4 days ago. Reporting in Lviv, Ukraine, I'm Nate Foy, Fox News.
And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Tech Sergeant Harold Schultz served in the Army during World War II. There, he received a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, among many other medals and awards. His hometown, Pittsburgh. And we're proud to recognize Tech Sergeant Harold Schultz, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, you can learn more about our other heroes at KOAMNewsNow.com. Up next, what a new study says about instituting a national abortion ban. A new study says instituting a national abortion ban would possibly raise maternal death rates by a significant number. Researchers at the University of Colorado say if a national abortion ban were to happen following the overturning of Roe v. Wade, U.S. maternal death rates would jump by 24%, and maternal death rates among black women would surge by 39%. They say states with already high maternal death rates and moderate to high abortion rates like Florida and Georgia would see a jump by about 30%. Some sweet onions by a Georgia farming company are recalled over bacteria contamination concerns. A&M Farms is recalling whole Vidalia onions sold through Wegmans and Publix grocery store chains under the brand Little Bear. They were recalled because they may be contaminated with Listeria, which can cause infections in the bloodstream and even the brain. The recalled onions were shipped to Florida, Georgia, New York, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania. Customers should look for the PLU 4159 on the label and throw them out or return them to the stores for a refund. CDC is investigating an outbreak of Listeria infections that have been traced to an ice cream company in Florida. The agency identified the company as Big Olaf Creamery. Its ice cream is only sold in the Sunshine State. The manufacturer is contacting retailers to recommend against selling its ice cream products until further notice. The CDC says consumers who have the ice cream at home should throw it away and sanitize any areas, containers, and utensils that may have touched the product. One death has been reported in Illinois from the infection strain, and 22 people have been hospitalized, and a miscarriage is being blamed on the Listeria. President Biden is back from Europe, where he slammed the Supreme Court on the world stage for its decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Now that he's back home, the president is facing a full plate of problems, from the southern border to inflation. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff is in Washington with more.
The main focus in the gatherings of the G7 and NATO leaders was to carve out new ways to assist Ukraine, with the president putting the blame on Russia's aggression for domestic issues here as well. While wrapping up the trip Thursday in Madrid, President Biden was asked about the U.S.'s status as a world leader given record inflation and gas prices. To that, he pivoted to the Supreme Court.
The one thing that has been destabilizing is the outrageous behavior of the Supreme Court of the United States in overruling not only Roe v. Wade, but essentially challenging the right to privacy.
Republicans criticized the president's wording on foreign soil as unpatriotic. The Biden administration has been on the losing end of several recent Supreme Court decisions, among them a hit to their green energy agenda, as the Supreme Court ruled this week to remove sole regulatory discretion from the EPA. But a win did come when the High Court agreed that the president can undo the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy. National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd made the point this week that without the controversy of a loss, the border crisis will continue to be ignored.
If the Supreme Court would have ruled in favor, that would have been a little bit different because now the mainstream media would have had to have covered it. And when the mainstream media covers things, then there's a little bit more pressure put on this administration.
Yesterday, before departing to spend the holiday weekend at Camp David, President Biden held a meeting with 9 Democratic governors who vowed to serve as safe havens for abortions. There, the president reiterated that he would like to see the Senate filibuster ended so that Roe v. Wade can be codified. But he also conceded that Democrats do not have enough votes right now to do that. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
After the forecast, Tesla sales hit a slump in the second quarter. We'll tell you about the 2 factors hurting purchases. Welcome back. Time now for that forecast.
Bit of an interesting one after we had some widely scattered storms this morning in the break around midday. The radar got to work quickly throughout the course of the day and got actually a good deal of scattered thunderstorms going. It started out in southwestern Missouri, but then a gravity wave and even outflow from storms that fired up near Springfield migrated toward the west. And the thunderstorms actually expanded westward as well. Thankfully, nothing severe, but we actually got some accumulating rainfall out of these scattered storms throughout the course of the day. 0.4 of an inch on average for today across the entire area, but there were some spots that just had a lot of rain pouring down. For example, a good deal of Woodson and Wilson counties. You had flash flood warnings and narrow flood warnings not too long ago, all because of rain amounts averaging 1.2 inches, but you can easily see some rain amounts pushing over 3, 4, maybe up to 5 inches in a couple of spots. That's the same case around Fort Scott, Nevada, down to about Pittsburgh, and even coming close to the town of Jasper. This corridor had 1.4 inches of rain on the average, but easily heavier pockets pushing almost 5 inches there. Fortunately, we've been seeing these rain chances decrease ever since we got past sunset. And this is going to lead to a decent dry stretch if you are not a fan of rain, at least upset the rest of your holiday weekend. But temperatures were quite interesting to see play out today. We had lower to middle 70s this morning. Everybody stayed fairly quiet. A lot of us pushing into the lower to middle 90s by about 3 o'clock, but you can see the temperatures drop rapidly as the storms developed and migrate back toward the west. We actually had some 70s on the board during the 6 o'clock hour if you were seeing the heaviest of the clouds, the rain, and even the thunderstorms. But again, all this activity has been dwindling downward, signaling that we'll have a quiet night ahead of us and a quiet 4th on the way, while any big severe weather stays just off to the north and west. However, the front is lifting back to our northeast, and we're starting to see these upper levels really build in as well. So that is going to set us up for a dry stretch throughout much of this week, but a hot and humid one as well. So at least for tonight, we'll keep things dry, and eventually we're going to see temperatures settle back mainly into the mid-70s. So quite mild, if not a bit warm, to start your 4th of July out. But I think we're in good shape for the rest of the day. Mostly sunny in the morning, but maybe some afternoon clouds as well. But as far as your 4th of July goes, we're looking dry this time around with generally a light south breeze, sometimes at 5 to 15. 75 in the morning, 93 by noon. I'm seeing highs topping out around 98. And as far as your 4th of July evening goes, you can see how we're pretty much staying quiet. Now, what does that mean for fireworks displays or any outdoor plans for tomorrow evening? Again, we're going to keep things dry, partly cloudy to mostly clear, but we'll still be in the mid-90s by 6 o'clock, 91 by 8, and still in the mid-80s by the time we hit the 10 o'clock hour. Briefly wanted to show you, though, feels like temperatures, because even though we're dry for the 4th, more humidity will still be around, so it's going to feel like 105 degrees across much of the area tomorrow afternoon. and we'll just do it again on Tuesday. Highs in the upper 90s, heat indices back near 105, and these are numbers that are going to stick. Certainly to go throughout the rest of the week. In fact, alert days are up because heat indices Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday could range between 105 and 110. With highs around 100, maybe as high as 102 on Thursday. Dry throughout that stretch, Chris, and fingers crossed we can see at least some isolated storms Saturday to at least drop highs back in the upper 90s.
Nick, thank you. Coming up, the cost of groceries for that 4th of July cookout are noticeably higher this year. We've got some tips to help limit the pinch on your wallet. We've been showing this to you. That's one part of our new antenna. This one here, weighing 12.5 tons. It's now at the top of our tower. For now, we're still broadcasting from a lower powered temporary antenna that's also a little bit lower on the tower as we prepare to transition to this new one that's going to be so much more powerful. We are aware that our signal has become a little glitchy for some of you. We also know that some of you have lost our signal, but rest assured, when this project is complete, you'll not only get our signal back, you'll get it back stronger and more powerful than ever. You can keep up with the progress anytime at KOAMNewsNow.com/power. Tesla sales hit a slump in the second quarter with two factors hurting purchases. The automaker sales dropped to their lowest levels since last fall with an 18% decrease from the first 3 months of the year. Supply chain issues and pandemic restrictions in China all hurting sales. One analyst says nearly 40% of Tesla sales come from China. However, Tesla says it has manufactured more vehicles in June than any other month in its history. Well, the cost of groceries for that 4th of July cookout is noticeably higher this year. With inflation at an all-time high, experts say families may be switching out some barbecue favorites for more wallet-friendly brands. Fox's Lisette Nunez breaks it all down.
This 4th of July, you may have to dig deeper into your pockets.
I'm trying to shop all the sales, buy one, get one free. Whatever chicken was on sale, burgers on sale.
I'm gonna have my grandkids over and basically that's it. We're gonna buy some hamburgers, that's all we can afford.
According to a survey from the American Farm Bureau Federation, the cost of a 4th of July barbecue is up 17% compared to last year. When you break it down to the items, the price for ground beef is up 36%. Chicken breast increased to 33%, pork and beans are up 33%, and ice cream has jumped 10%. Economists citing the war on Ukraine, ongoing inflation, and supply chain issues are to blame.
We are also see people bouncing back from the pandemic and consuming at perhaps a higher than average rate just because there's pent-up demand. So that's working its way through the system right now.
Sharon O'Halloran is a professor of political economy at Columbia. She believes this holiday weekend shoppers are likely to steer away from higher priced items to save a couple of bucks.
People are going to have to just look for good savings and alternatives and be very wise in how they budget. People are going to go for sales. People are going to clip coupons. They are going to look for the lower priced product.
And economists also say another way to save a little more money this 4th of July is buying chicken instead of beef, since it's usually cheaper than red meat.
Well, still ahead, an Australian teen puts a game face on to set a record. Well, we're heading down under where that was Scottish. I'm not even going to try again. That was so bad. I'm not okay. Well, we're heading to Australia, where an Australian teen, she's putting on a game face to set a record, and here's what she's doing. She's identifying the faces of U.S. presidents. 16-year-old Laura Noonan of Sydney, Australia, identified 40 U.S. presidents from their portraits in 1 minute, surpassing the previous record holder, Anay Singh, in 2021 by 12 presidents. This is the new champ's third world record. Noonan holds the records for most Marvel characters identified in a minute and most cartoon characters identified in a minute. You throw some Star Trek in front of me, and I guarantee you I could identify a number of those characters in 30 seconds. I guarantee it. A Boston woman is still in her job late in life and high up in the air, making for, here's another one, another new record. Betty Nash was awarded by Guinness. Sorry, that whole Scottish thing just really threw me off. She was awarded by the Guinness World Records as the world's longest and oldest serving flight attendant. Nash began her career as a flight attendant with Eastern Airlines in 1957 and continues with American with no gap in her employment. She works in the Northeast Corridor mostly in order to be home to care for her son with disabilities. I think the only record that I'm going to set is most terrible accents in a single newscast. We've got I guess it was, and that comes from watching too much Star Trek, too much Scotty, and you just too much Scotty, because we've got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports headed your way when the KOAM News at 9 returns. Right now on the second half of the News at 9, a Middle East heat wave has one zoo helping out its animal friends, staying made in the shade. Plus, what the White House has to say about Jeff Bezos' disagreement on rising gas prices, and shocking footage of a police-involved shooting in Ohio as the city of Akron is now canceling public events, bracing for protests. The KOAM News at 9 continues right now. Thank you for staying with us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. A Middle East heat wave has one zoo helping out its animal friends stay made in the shade. A scorching blast of heat is sapping all the energy and life out of the animals at the Baghdad Zoo. So zookeepers are turning to makeshift means to help lions and tigers stay cool. The tigers get the pool, like you saw, while others get sprayed, hosed, or misted down in other locations away from the sun. The zoo fell into disrepair after being ransacked by looters during the fall of Saddam Hussein in 2003. The zoo now has about 1,000 animals. The White House is hitting back at billionaire Jeff Bezos for saying the Biden administration's insistence on blaming oil companies for high gasoline prices shows, quote, a deep misunderstanding of basic market dynamics. The White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre posted a tweet saying gas companies have refused to lower prices at the pump even as the base cost of oil has fallen. She says that's basic market dynamics, and it's a market that is failing the American consumer. The sparring started with a tweet from the president on Saturday demanding gas companies unilaterally lower their prices. Biden has continuously blamed Russian President Vladimir Putin for both high gasoline prices and skyrocketing inflation. We also had some temperatures shooting right up there earlier today. Nick Kelly joining us with a look at what we got.
Yeah, and a good example of that, Chris, before rain really worked over Joplin, was Joplin Regional's high for today. 96 degrees, a little warmer than I was expecting, but after the rain came on through, we've seen those numbers tumble back into the 70s. And that's where the bulk of us that saw rain have seen temperatures sit as we got this evening underway. Some spots have been trying to trend back near 80 as these remaining rain and even some thunderstorm chances continue to die down. But it was coming down heavy at times. In fact, we still have some aerial flood warnings and flash flood warnings stretching across the entirety of Woodson and Wilson counties. The latest of them will expire by about 11:15. The last of the rain and storms continue to die down as we go through the overnight, but then we're going to shift to heat advisories. A lot of these continuing through much of this week, and it does start with our 4th of July tomorrow. Well, we drop back near 75, at least we'll be dry and quiet to start the morning out. Then hot for your 4th of July, pushing up to 98 degrees despite partly sunny skies. We'll take a look at heat indices, Chris, and how high the mercury unfortunately could go throughout the course of the week here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. Shocking footage of a police-involved shooting in Ohio. Now, the city of Akron is canceling public events and bracing for protests after police today released video that shows officers firing multiple rounds into a black man after he fled a traffic stop. Fox News senior correspondent Claudia Cowan is following the story.
The shooting happened last Monday after police in Akron, Ohio, pulled over 25-year-old Jayland Walker for a traffic violation. Exactly what it was is unclear, but Walker allegedly sped off and a routine traffic stop became a public safety threat after police say an apparent gunshot was fired from Walker's car while cops were chasing him. Police say body cam video captured what they believe was a muzzle flash from the car early in the chase. Walker at some point abandoned his vehicle and the pursuit became a foot chase with 8 officers yelling at him to stop. This is video of what happened next. But we want to warn viewers it is hard to watch and hard to hear because it shows officers firing dozens of shots in a matter of seconds. The police chief says it appears Walker turned toward the officers in a way that led them to believe he was armed, but he says they will be held to account.
When an officer makes the most critical decision in his or her life as a police officer, doesn't matter where in the country this happens, when they make that most critical decision to point their firearm at another human being and pull the trigger, they've got to be ready to explain why they did what they did.
The lawyer for Walker's family spoke after the city's press conference Sunday afternoon showing Jalen's picture. His family says the young man was a DoorDash delivery driver who stayed away from trouble. With the city on edge and demanding answers and protests starting to grow, the mayor and Walker's relatives are pleading for calm.
If you can do anything for the family, please give peace, give dignity, and give justice a chance.
A firearm was discovered in Walker's car, and a spent shell casing that may have come from that gun is now part of the ongoing investigation. While the police chief acknowledged that body cam video was difficult to watch, he says he's not passing judgment until the investigation is complete. And he praised the Walker family for their call for peace. In Los Angeles, Claudia Cowan, Fox News.
Well, as Americans flock to the beaches this holiday weekend, officials are warning swimmers of several shark sightings along the Atlantic coast, with one reported attack in Florida. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams is on Long Island, New York, where a shark also may have bitten someone.
That's right, another shark attack here on Long Island just this morning. Authorities say a lifeguard during a training session was bit at least 2 times, once in the head and once in the chest. He is recovering, but they're still sweeping the waters there. Take a look here. This is Shark Patrol happening right now on Long Island. It happens every single summer, but they are ramping up patrols. They use helicopters to comb the water from above as they look out for sharks. Lifeguards on foot using drones and even out on jet skis to monitor the more than 100 miles of Long Island beaches along the Atlantic Ocean there. So far this summer, a 10-foot mako shark was washed up at Point Lookout, which is just a few miles away. And just a few days ago, police say a man was attacked by what they believe was a shark, bit so hard it fractured his leg.
When there's a shark sighting, the first thing the lifeguards do is get everybody out of the water. We will track it to make sure that it's safe and that the shark leaves the area of where people are bathing.
Over this holiday weekend, a Florida teen was attacked by a shark. 17-year-old Addison Bethea is still in the hospital after investigators say the animal clamped its jaws right onto her thigh.
She was fighting the shark, like trying to pull it off of her leg with her bare hand. I mean, she's got bite marks on her hands. Poked it in the eye. She's woke up with a good sense of humor about it and smiling, and she's joking with us. And I mean, that's a blessing. That's a blessing because we could have lost her yesterday.
Out on Cape Cod, great white sharks still showing up just in time for the busy tourist season. The sharks coming in as the Cape waters warm up, peaking from August through October. Overall, according to the International Shark Attack File out of Florida, there were 73 unprovoked shark bites in 2021 across the world and 9 fatal bites. As that lifeguard is treated for those shark bites, investigators are still combing the water, so they've halted all swimming at this time, asking people to be vigilant this summer. Reporting on Long Island, Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Coming up, whether you're hitting the road, the skies, or staying put this 4th of July, there's fun to be had, even on a budget. Well, whether you're hitting the road, the skies, or staying put this 4th of July, you can still have some fun, even if you're cutting back on spending. With gas and grocery prices soaring nationwide, Fox's Gernal Scott has that story.
With the 4th falling on a Monday and creating a 3-day weekend for many, Americans are hitting the roads, seeing the sights and catching up with family to make the most of Independence Day. But with high prices hitting every part of the economy, families will be spending more than usual this year hosting those big holiday gatherings. The American Farm Bureau Federation estimates the cost of a 4th of July barbecue is up 17% compared to last year, with significant hikes on staples like burgers, beer, and chicken wings. Despite the added costs, there's still plenty of excitement around the holiday.
Crowds want to be outdoors, they want to do things, and the fact that we've got just this great musical festival with great food and something for everybody, we're expecting great crowds.
We also see people bouncing back from the pandemic and consuming at perhaps a higher than average rate just because there's pent-up demand.
The other holiday market that should see plenty of interest is the fireworks stand, with limited supply fueling a wave of increased demand. Sellers are hoping that things that go boom will be resilient to inflation.
You see families, dad just comes in and buys some stuff that's fun. This is something that for a little while, they don't have to worry about the groceries and the gas and everything else. They're buying fun.
Experts recommend being flexible to save some money on your 4th of July experience. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
A little later, before New Englanders break out July 4th barbecues, we'll tell you what they're celebrating today.
Bit of an interesting one after we had some widely scattered storms this morning in the break around midday. The radar got to work quickly throughout the course of the day and got actually a good deal of scattered thunderstorms going. It started out in southwestern Missouri, but then a gravity wave and even outflow from storms that fired up near Springfield migrated toward the west. And the thunderstorms actually expanded westward as well. Thankfully, nothing severe, but we actually got some accumulating rainfall out of these scattered storms throughout the course of the day. 0.4 of an inch on average for today across the entire area, but there were some spots that just had a lot of rain pouring down. For example, a good deal of Woodson and Wilson counties. You had flash flood warnings and aerial flood warnings not too long ago, all because of rain amounts averaging 1.2 inches, but you can easily see some rain amounts pushing over 3, 4, maybe up to 5 inches in a couple of spots. That's the same case around Fort Scott, Nevada, down to about Pittsburgh, and even coming close to the town of Jasper. This corridor had 1.4 inches of rain on the average, but easily heavier pockets pushing almost 5 inches there. Fortunately, we've been seeing these rain chances decrease ever since we got past sunset. And this is going to lead to a decent dry stretch if you are not a fan of rain, at least upset the rest of your holiday weekend. But temperatures were quite interesting to see play out today. We had lower to middle 70s this morning. Everybody stayed fairly quiet. A lot of us pushing into the lower to middle 90s by about 3 o'clock, but you can see the temperatures drop rapidly as the storms developed and migrate back toward the west. We actually had some 70s on the board during the 6 o'clock hour if you were seeing the heaviest of the clouds, the rain, and even the thunderstorms. But again, all this activity has been dwindling downward, signaling that we'll have a quiet night ahead of us and a quiet 4th on the way, while any big severe weather stays just off to the north and west. However, the front is lifting back to our northeast, and we're starting to see these upper levels really build in as well. So that is going to set us up for a dry stretch throughout much of this week, but a hot and humid one as well. So at least for tonight, we'll keep things dry, and eventually we're going to see temperatures settle back mainly into the mid-70s. So quite mild, if not a bit warm, to start your 4th of July out. But I think we're in good shape for the rest of the day. Mostly sunny in the morning, but maybe some afternoon clouds as well. But as far as your 4th of July goes, we're looking dry this time around with generally a light south breeze, sometimes at 5 to 15. 75 in the morning, 93 by noon. I'm seeing highs topping out around 98. And as far as your 4th of July evening goes, you can see how we're pretty much staying quiet. Now, what does that mean for fireworks displays or any outdoor plans for tomorrow evening? Again, we're going to keep things dry, partly cloudy to mostly clear, but we'll still be in the mid-90s by 6 o'clock, 91 by 8, and still in the mid-80s by the time we hit the 10 o'clock hour. Briefly wanted to show you, though, feels like temperatures, because even though we're dry for the 4th, more humidity will still be around, so it's going to feel like 105 degrees across much of the area tomorrow afternoon. and we'll just do it again on Tuesday. Highs in the upper 90s, heat indices back near 105, and these are numbers that are going to stick. Certainly to go throughout the rest of the week. In fact, alert days are up because heat indices Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday could range between 105 and 110. With highs around 100, maybe as hot as 102 on Thursday. Dry throughout that stretch, Chris, and fingers crossed we can see at least some isolated storms Saturday to at least drop highs back in the upper 90s.
Nick, thank you. Coming up in sports, Joplin Outlaws aim to snap a 4-game losing streak on the road against the Nevada Griffins. Plus, Kansas City Royals trying to take the series from division rival Detroit Tigers. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more next.
Well, the Joplin Outlaws have hit a bit of a rough patch in the last week. The Outlaws have lost 4 straight games to slip to second place in the Mink League South Division. Now tonight, Joplin tries to get back on track on the road against the division rival Nevada Griffins. Now, at the time of taping, Joplin leads at 12-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Carl Junction product Carson Johnson is 2 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs tonight for the Outlaws. The Kansas City Royals have split the first 2 games of their 3-game series with the Tigers. The Royals dropped a heartbreaker last night, giving up 2 home runs in the 9th, falling 4-3. Kansas City tries to rebound and take the series this afternoon. Emmanuel Rivera in the second, 2-run homer for Kansas City. His 5th of the season. It's 3-0 Royals. 4th inning, Brady Singer rolling on the mound for Kansas City. Harold Castro goes down looking. Javi Baez can also have a seat. Then Willie Castro goes down swinging. Singer strikes out the side in the 4th. The next inning, Andrew Benintendi up now, going the other way for the double. Rivera scores on that to get the KC lead to 4. A big opportunity here for Detroit with the bases loaded, but check it out. Whit Merrifield out there and right. Nice sliding grab. Royals take the series from the Tigers, winning this one 7-4. Now in the National League, the Cardinals try to take their series over the Phillies after splitting the first 2, but they didn't score. Not going to win much doing that. 4-0 the final in this one. St. Louis will be right back on the field tomorrow evening facing the Braves at 6:20. Well, today is the 19th race of the NASCAR Cup Series season. The series heads to Wisconsin this afternoon for the Quick Trip 250 at Road America. Now, Chase Elliott on the pole for this one. After a late dive to the pits for Elliott, Chase Briscoe inherits the lead. Briscoe wins the first stage today, just his 2nd career stage win. Lap 30 after the leaders take a pit stop. Ryan Blaney would take over the top spot. Blaney takes the 2nd stage. 17 laps to go. Gets good here. Elliott back out in front. Tyler Reddick close behind. Elliott locks it up in the turn. Reddick takes the lead on the inside. Reddick would actually go on to win it. It is his 1st career win, and he is the 13th different winner of the season.
Just a huge sense of relief. This whole team, we've been at it for a couple years now together, and even some of us back to the Xfinity Series days. You know, a lot of great people have helped an immense amount along the way, and it's just what a crazy ride it's been, and just had to put a lot into it. All of us have, and it's really nice to get it finally done.
And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Well, before New Englanders break out the July 4th barbecues, it is time to celebrate National Fried Clam Day. Legend has it that Henry Chubby Woodman and his wife Bessie began the unheard of frying of clams in Essex, Massachusetts when business was slow. The idea took off thanks to a friend's suggestion in 1916, and today is the best opportunity to enjoy them as strips or whole soft shell on Sunday. And don't forget to share it on social media if you're still getting out there tonight using the hashtag National Fried Clam Day. I'm going to end it there because I really can't eat seafood, so clams have never ever been a thing that I have considered.
You know what's weird with me is I'm allergic to a lot of fish, but I can eat tuna, but I can eat shellfish. Usually it's the other way around. Usually people are allergic to shellfish.
And see, I can eat shrimp in limited quantities. I can't eat a lot of it, but I just can't eat other seafood. Yeah, so there you have it. If you ever want to know anything about us and our seafood habits, now you know. And we do have some unpleasant temperatures on the way, Nick.
Yeah, it's going to be dry for the 4th, but we could technically count Monday as an alert day too, because heat advisories will continue for Monday. In fact, get going by the afternoon tomorrow with highs near 98. Heat indices will push near 105. Same story for Tuesday with highs in the upper 90s. But Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Chris, with highs in the lower triple digits. The humidity will make it feel like 105 to 110. And fingers crossed, we can get a system nearby on Saturday for at least some isolated thunderstorm chances. But still, the heat's going to stick with us throughout pretty much the entire week.
Not a lot of relief on the way, so I hope you all enjoyed today. And that is our time for now. We'll be back here tomorrow, and thanks for making us part of your night.